Party.
Hello, welcome to the party.
Hi, I've never met you before.
I know.
Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time. Having a good time. Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time.
Hello and welcome back to Just Two Guys. I'm Micah Roderick here with John Anderson. John, what are you up to?
I'm just playing with my Etch-a-Sketch.
Oh.
My pocket Etch-a-Sketch.
Apropos of you.
By Ohio Art.
Well, John, do you want to go ahead and get started with our questions?
Yeah. Do you want me to start with the first question?
Go ahead and start.
My first question for tonight is, who is your favorite historical character known to have suffered from severe dementia or insanity?
Oh. Probably the insanity part. I think go Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Although I don't know, wasn't it debated that he was maybe just had an inner ear thing going on?
I don't know if that was debated or not. I've never heard that theory.
I don't really know, but that's probably my favorite. Who's your favorite?
My favorite? Gosh, I don't know. I hadn't prepared for this question.
Wait, you don't think of the answers before you write the question?
No, I never do.
Oh.
I
Well,
don't
I
have
thought
one.
of somebody who was insane.
No, not really. Maybe Rasputin. I love his story about how he was killed.
I thought he was quite sane.
He was pretty crazy, and he was killed about 100 times.
Wow.
That's for that's for a different show, I guess.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it in a different show. You
Yeah.
want me to go now?
Sure.
That was a good question. That's a tough one to think of. I'm sure something's going to come up a little way.
Yeah, maybe.
John, would you rather walk a mile in 5-foot deep chocolate pudding, mayonnaise, or pureed pepperoni pizza?
Oh God.
Oh, it would make it easier to walk through if it's pureed.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. I'm gonna go with the pudding. I think.
You gonna go with the pudding?
Those other two things just are revolting.
I would think that mayonnaise would be the quicker route.
Yeah, I can't deal with mayonnaise. Not that much. Not that much. You said how
Wouldn't
long?
make much for a little quick break, would it?
One full mile.
1 full mile.
Yeah.
On a
Pudding.
plane, it's not uphill or downhill. It's just.
I go through pudding. Is it like the end of Shawshank Redemption? Do I have to swim through a tunnel? Yeah, I'm going with pudding. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Pudding all the way.
That's probably the more logical answer.
Okay. Jerry Lambert catches this program one night while he's flipping around. I think I teased this question the last time we taped.
You did.
Yeah.
And you do not stop with the Jerry Lambert
I won't.
question.
He's dazzled by your screen presence. He talks to the studio bosses at Channel 20, and they want to offer you your own show. You can pick any of the 20 personalities to be your co-host. Who would you choose?
Oh, that is rough question.
I know.
It's a rough
better be
question
careful who you
because I
choose.
could only answer one. Now, Sarah Wojcicki would be great because she's our friend, but I think that I would have great rapport with Gus Gordon.
Oh, wow. That came out of nowhere. I didn't think of that.
Yes. I mean, he's a weather guy, but I think that would work well.
You'd like to ham it up with Gus on the air?
I think we could probably handle that.
That's great.
I think we could probably handle that.
That's good.
That was a good question. So that's what I'm waiting for months to be asked.
Yeah, I've been holding on to that one for a while.
That's pretty good. All right, John. What if an alien group landed in your driveway and asked you if you'd like to explore the universe for 2 years? Would you go? Now, they would set the premise they will not rectal probe you at any point during this 2-year trip. Now, I can't guarantee the trust in these aliens. They may pull you over one night and say deals off. But
We're 600 light years from Earth now.
It's like, hey, sorry. I know that.
Can I bring my family and friends?
No, it's just you.
Just me?
Just
no,
you.
I wouldn't do it.
No, and you wouldn't say the entire universe. Just a little
No.
2-year tour of the.
I wouldn't want to do that without. I don't know. I'm a pretty clingy dude. I have separation
Sure,
anxiety.
you'd make friends.
I have separation anxiety. So even just like leaving to go run an errand, it's like, what if this is the last time? So 2-year.
Well, that
trip
definitely
through
wouldn't
space,
work with the
that
universe
wouldn't-
traveling.
No, that wouldn't work. So no, I'm gonna have to put the kibosh on that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but that's a good question. I can see how that would be appealing.
Right.
Okay. What's a band that you listen to that you enjoy but you're ashamed of it? You don't like to admit it in front of others. So admit it on the air right now.
Oh, that's not hard. I've just got to figure out what I should be ashamed of.
What's something that you're like, oh man, I don't really want people knowing I listen to this?
Oh, that is tough. I don't know who that would be. I don't know, because I'm not ashamed of anybody I listen to, but
That's good.
I'm sure there's got to be somebody who would be like, oh, that's kind of girly. I don't listen. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a hard question.
Man, you stumped me. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I could really say.
For me, I always feel like that with Sinead O'Connor. I love Sinead O'Connor. But I think, wow, people would probably beat me up in the parking lot if they knew that.
There was a phase where I listened to a little Journey, and I don't know.
Don't be embarrassed of that. That's okay.
Well, I don't know.
You grew up in Macomb. You're supposed to listen to Journey.
I once listened to Def Leppard, too. I don't know. Is that a problem?
No, that's something you should be
Okay,
ashamed of.
all right. Okay.
I actually know a guy who got his girlfriend, well, a girl he just met at a Def Leppard concert pregnant.
At the concert?
Yeah, right afterwards in the car.
Whoa.
Yeah, he met her at the concert.
That's
They
how
were both
powerful
17.
Def Leppard is.
Def Leppard, it's an aphrodisiac.
They are a powerful band. Maybe that's why I like them. An eccentric rich man approaches you and offers you $500,000 for each clown you take down. The assassination must be done publicly but discreetly. What method would you use as a hitman of clowns?
For clowns?
Publicly and discreetly, you have to take them down.
I'd probably use the Jaws of Life on the clown car. Get them all piled in and then just destroy it.
You wouldn't use like a spraying flour that has like
Acid in
it or something?
No. I'd have to do something with the clown car. Like
Take
get
out
one of those
the
big magnets and then crush it.
That's discreet.
Yeah.
Hey kids, watch the clowns.
Well, you take it to the junkyard. Nobody knows. That's a good question. I don't like clowns.
Yeah, I don't really like them either. I'd take that job for cheaper.
Okay. Okay. In his autobiography, Christopher Reeves states, "Nothing is impossible." Is nothing impossible?
Nothing is impossible. No, something is impossible.
How dare you disagree with Christopher Reeve?
Listen, I'm not trying to be a real bastard
You can't
about
disagree
this,
with
but
him.
What? I mean, he didn't walk. And I'm not trying to be cruel. Some things are impossible.
I guess so.
I mean, someday somebody in his condition will walk, but depends on that. I mean,
You're harsh.
Not trying to be a real son
You're
of a
harsh.
bitch.
I knew you'd answer that, though. That's why I knew you'd say.
Well, that's the best I got. Okay. What do you think would serve Springfield the best? Streetcars, a subway, or a monorail?
Monorail.
Yes. Awesome. I can't disagree with you on that one.
I just love the concept of a monorail.
I'd like to see a monorail flying past the streets.
That's, I think, for right now, is a design that's sure to fail. The other two have been done enough. I think they'd be fine. But the monorail, not good.
Monorail.
You wake up in a bathtub of ice and you have no idea where you are. What's the first thing you think?
My kidneys are gone.
Good.
Either that or I don't know. What would you think?
That's probably what I would think, too. Oh,
I'd
bleep.
feel like,
Yeah.
like that real quick.
I'm
Okay,
toast.
real quick. Last question here, John. If you were zapped back to the 1700s, what invention do you think you could reinvent in order to make life easier? So you can't just have the invention. You have to actually recreate it yourself and pass it on.
In the 1700s,
Mm-hmm.
an invention I have to create myself. I'm not much of a creator.
Yeah, but
Gosh, I don't know. Ice. Could probably figure out some way to do that.
you just pulled the answer from the last question. I think the brains are fried.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a
hard
good
to do.
question. Well, this is a good question and answer session. We're really getting back into it here. Some good oddities. But we'll get to our guest here. We've got Steve Bridge, and we'll talk to him in a minute. Thanks. This is an exciting time for us. Tonight, as a guest, we have Springfield's greatest sports knowledge in one person, Steve Bridge. Steve's here to talk a little bit about sports, a little bit about the life and times of a journal. Well, you're not really a journalist, are you, Steve? At this point,
It was all an act
you're
to
just
begin with.
you're just an opinioned person at this point.
It's all an act to start
Yeah,
off
yeah.
with.
And well, we can go into your history here in Springfield, and actually going beyond that. For those of you who don't know, which is most all of 10 viewers that we have, Steve and I grew up together in Macomb, and we went to college together, and we actually began broadcasting together. You ended up
That's right.
doing real broadcasting. I ended up here.
Fake. You did the fake stuff.
So that's kind of weird. And then you went on to Quincy,
Rockford,
and then
back to Springfield. Well,
came
not
down.
back to Springfield, to Springfield.
Yes, and then you were
Very,
here.
very, very exciting. All the real garden spots of Illinois.
Yeah,
Yes.
Didn't get confused with like trying to live in Chicago or anything.
Don't
Quincy,
do that.
Right.
It's a great town.
Yeah.
Beautiful river.
The Gem City.
Rockford. Oh boy, couldn't
Rock-
ask for a nicer place.
The Rock.
Very
City,
solid.
Yes. And here you land in Springfield.
And then right down to Springfield.
And you're probably most recognizable to the viewers from Channel 20. You did sports for several years.
Previous life on Channel 20. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And now you do the radio. You do.
Or for WFMB on their AM side of things, doing a hobby of a talk show.
Yeah, you get to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I just
right?
insult people and tell them that they're wrong about their opinions in sports.
Exactly.
Nice.
But
That's
it's a
great.
fairly simple concept.
Yeah, yeah. No, we like that. We like that.
I like to deny people their own opinions. It's very fun.
Well, they're really not entitled to have them, especially if they're wrong.
That's true. That's true.
Well, do you ever
Isn't
insult?
that right?
Do you ever insult listeners like on the calling in? Because
Well,
I listen to like Chicago
you know,
sports
they-
radio, and they're just like, "Shut up, you're an idiot."
I think the listeners take it that way. I'm not really insulting them. I mean, if they
I
were
think you need to be more aggressive.
more aggressive.
Yeah.
Or like show up at
towards-
their house and like rough them off after the show.
Yeah, and use a
Especially
lot
the-
of those really like insulting sound effects. Like,
Yeah.
doing, oing, 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 oing.
I think you should do that, especially to the Cardinals fans around town who are really
Well,
sticking.
gloating.
We'll start
Yes.
taking a log, names, phone numbers, addresses, and then I'll just send somebody out and like
Yeah.
push them down in the
We'll
shower.
go
We'll go.
Okay, there you go. Go rough them
Well,
up.
we're not very tough,
No,
but we're
we discussed
sneaky.
that.
We're sneaky.
If you have any little girls that call in, we'll take care of her.
you can like throw a scare into somebody. You can like stare at them while they're walking to their car.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Be a little unnerved for a couple minutes, and then
I like where this is going. I like to see the aggressiveness of this.
Hiring us as mob hitmen. That's very good.
for
yeah.
people's bad sports opinions.
John, do you have any questions for me?
I do have a question. This is something that occurred to me this morning. It's something that's always bugged me about sports broadcasting. But what's with all the puns and the word plays?
Yeah,
like-
what is up with that?
Like this morning, for example, I was watching a local sports broadcast, and I heard this. There was a behind-the-back pass, and the sports broadcaster guy said, "Wow, biscuits and gravy." And I'm thinking,
Oh, it's
what?
not clear to you that.
Well, I mean,
how you make biscuits and gravy in the morning when you're at your. Very clear to anybody. I would have thought that.
Guess I just
didn't-
missed the connection. And then here was another one. The same guy said that UIS was playing the St. Louis College of Pharmacy.
Right.
When he said they needed a prescription for Tylenol. I don't
Wow,
understand.
I bet they lost by a large margin. Would
They
that
did,
be the?
yeah, they did,
wow,
yes.
See, well, that's the type of writing you get. It's a.
do you have a
it's
signature
fantastic.
like whammy or?
I chose not to.
Thank
I mean,
you.
I
Thank
think that.
That's a respectable thing
This
to
is
do.
why
I
he
think.
was so well liked on television.
think
not
so,
liked
yeah.
on radio because he doesn't use all that. Crap.
He's a working man's sports. Yeah, that's always something, and like the headlines in the newspaper too are always like Wildcats purr their way to victory. You know, it's like, do we need that?
That's
Can we just say
just-
they won?
What if they really did though?
They purred their way.
What if they, yeah? What if that was like an actual competition?
I know.
If it were a purring competition, then I say go for it. If it's
If it was a basketball game, for
team
instance,
luge,
maybe, you know,
I don't
yeah.
know if I want to go that route.
Well, now if you're purring and you're in team luge, I think you have other, with the position that two people are on in team luge. If especially if the bottom person is purring, then that's probably noteworthy and maybe
What the hell
worth
are
the
we
headline story.
I'm like lost in puns here.
I don't think that's a pun. I think that's
We're just talking about luge sex.
I thought we were punning.
but it is awful cold on the luge, so
That is true. Yeah.
I mean,
that's
either
true.
it's too cold or maybe it's cold enough.
just
Are we
cold
still
enough.
punning?
No puns.
Okay.
No
maybe
pun
a metaphor
intended.
for life.
All right. Well, I don't know.
Maybe you should change the subject.
When it's cold, purr. Is that a metaphor for
Purr,
life?
purr.
Steve, how do you kill a clown? That's going to change the subject. How would you kill a clown?
Not quick enough, really. I think.
Nothing's quick enough. No.
Why would
No,
you?
I think you just dispatch of them quickly and coldly, calculating.
I like this
Shove them
guy.
off a ladder.
Would you-
have like the anvil fall on
Would you
them?
go up as the last moment? Like every good action hero has something to say. Would you just go?
The old Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction, just read
just
them.
go honk their
Yeah.
honk their
Isaiah.
nose.
Step on his big shoe.
Because he finally croaks.
Or maybe you lean over with your flower, just squirt a little water. Rub it in.
I like that.
I like it too.
Uh,
You have that one good question. You got to ask that one.
about Kermit Washington.
Yes. Do you know
What do you
this?
think of the Kermit Washington punch? The
He was a
Rudy
basketball
Tom
player that hit Rudy Tomjanovich.
Yeah, what did you think of that punch? I just saw it for the
It
first
worked
time.
well, didn't it? I mean, if he was trying to nearly
murder
kill
him.
Rudy Tomjanovich, I think that, I think the punch worked. Not
Yeah,
appropriate.
I've always wanted to see that video clip, and I just found it online last week, and it was just brutal. It was
Of course, what's Kermit Washington's like 6'9", and Rudy Tomjanovich is
6'9". Yeah,
5'8".
he had a punch that was like 20 feet. It was like
That was
one
quite
of
the
these,
haymaker. Yeah.
Piston. Yeah, it was great.
That was
and
awesome.
They said it displaced some of his bones in his skull by a quarter of an inch.
You know, it's funny. You're talking about that before
No,
the
now you
show.
make me feel bad and laughing and you hear the statistics. and how brutal it is.
I like to
Feel
do that.
bad.
Yeah, pull the statistics out.
He died.
Nothing is impossible, as we found.
Right.
Maybe Rudy Tomjanovich made some sort of Kermit joke, though. I mean,
could be, yeah.
how many of those did he hear in his
Kermit
life?
the
And
Frog.
Well, what's the
Yeah.
best
like,
sports
it's not
fight
easy
you've
being
seen?
green, and then finally,
He's had it.
boy, it's over with.
Time to strike.
See, what's the best sports fight you've seen? Because that's a good one right there. That's
You
one
know,
of the
the
best.
sports fight I would like to see is like when the Olympic beach volleyball players get together, the girls. I'd like to see them.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
they fight?
No, they don't.
Oh.
That's really the disappointment of the entire Olympic experience. That it's not part of the.
Throw sand in their eyes. and just-
Yeah. Kyle Farnsworth beat up somebody.
That
I was
too
just
long
thinking
ago.
that one.
That was the
was-
best thing Kyle
He
Farnsworth ever
speared
did.
him
Yeah.
good.
The Reds player he took down pretty good. Nolan Ryan landed a nice punch to Robin Ventura
And what was
a
the-
decade ago.
Yeah, when Ryan got the one dude in a headlock.
Ryan got
too.
the guy in a headlock.
Just pounding
Oh,
away.
Yeah.
the guy rushed the mound, and didn't he just flip him around? And
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And there was a great Cardinal Cub fight a decade and a half ago. Was it like Frank DePino and somebody got killed?
See, this is why he's on.
Yeah, that's
I
why I
didn't know
like
that one.
I know.
I didn't know about that. I wish somebody
You don't see
compiled
many
great
baseball fights there anymore, though. It's
No,
not-
you don't see too much. They keep it back. And hockey doesn't count because that's like half the sport.
Yeah, unless
is
it's just a
fighting.
really
and
good,
football
bloody,
doesn't
like,
count because you're
Ty
so
Domi.
you're so covered. A fight.
Well,
isn't-
if the goalies fight, though, that's always.
yeah, if the goalies get involved,
Or if the police actually have to come onto the ice, which
Yeah,
I've seen a
that's
few
great.
times.
that's where you need it.
Yeah, it's where you're like, okay, this
Or they have
one's-
to re-ice the place because there's so much blood.
Zamboni comes out in the first layer, it's all red.
My favorite though is when you watch a baseball game and the pitchers who are way out in the bullpen sort of make the decision it's not serious enough
Just kind of
to
jog
run.
in, though.
They kind of strut
Well,
finally.
they're like, man, I was all relaxed.
I had a dip in.
Yeah.
Well, I saw that at Busch Stadium. It was the Cubs Cardinals, and a scuffle started. And I was looking at the bullpens because the bullpens were way out there, and you saw them open up the door. They kind of started walking, like, is this going to be over by the time we get there? And then they started sprinting. So I mean,
They still got their warm-ups on. They're probably
Yeah.
wearing street shoes.
Yeah.
Not even ready. They're wearing dress shoes, like they came to the ballpark, and
They've got brass knuckles in their pocket.
mismatched socks. It's all out of sorts.
Then
Pajamas.
There was that good fight.
Or maybe it's just somebody swinging a sock with a bunch of dimes in it at him.
well, remember those rednecks in Chicago who took down the
Lots of rednecks in Chicago,
Yeah,
particularly
the
at White Sox
first base.
games. Yeah, where they beat up Tom
Took out the
Gamboa.
umpire. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and
It was
Angel
the-
Angel Hernandez, but they also beat
Yeah.
up Tom Gamboa. See, there's lots of
Yeah, that was crazy.
I love
Drunken
Chicago
people from Blue Island ready to beat people up on the
Didn't
field.
the fans and the Cubs, didn't they start beating up a Dodgers player or something?
Yeah, they took somebody's hat, but
Yeah,
you know,
something
come on, he's got
like
lots of
that.
hats.
Took the hat, beat him up.
And what was great about that is there was like one guy, he had the old floppy hat on, and he wasn't really involved in the fight, but then he like noticed that the camera, of course, was on. He just turned around, he just started jumping up and down. Like he couldn't be prouder to be there at the moment. And then, you know, somewhere like a college professor is going, "Oh, you were sick today, really? Okay." That's great. Parents are just completely
That is
disappointed with their own child.
Well, Steve, this is good stuff, but I got to bring this up too. You recently landed on the cover of Springfield Scene magazine.
That's quite the.
Who is that next to you? Is that?
That's my wife.
Oh, and I hear she's in the local media.
She is. You can hear her on another competing radio station. We don't talk about competing radio stations.
No, we don't talk about competing radio stations. But this is a very nice cover. I mean, were you surprised?
Well, yeah, we didn't even know it was going to happen.
To find that you were on the cover of the magazine.
Didn't even know it was going to happen. Then you wake up
just
one morning and
paparazzi all around all the time.
follows. I'm a personal photographer. And,
Yeah.
Do you get noticed?
You know, people stare at me. They don't even really like to talk to me. Probably some, I don't know.
Has anybody
They
ever
don't
just
think I'm
come
any
up to you out of
fun.
the blue and just like, you're a
Well-
real jackass on that radio show? I can't
It might be
stand
your
you."
opinion toward clowns. Some people like clowns, and so
Gotta stop with the Shriners. There.
yeah, stop attacking the
Well, if I
Shriners.
drive home tonight, there's this really tiny car behind me. I'll just get real nervous. Break out of the sweat.
Little beady eyes,
Yeah.
red nose.
Very, they're just doing circles around me at the stoplight.
Little fluffs
Chinese
of
fire
hair.
drill, and they all roll out of the car. I'm in big trouble.
Man, that's gonna give
You're
me nightmares. That's creepy. Oh, I can see him with a hatchet.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What do they just stalk you there and like didn't do anything bad? They just annoyed you.
Well,
You know, and because there's like the classic clown scene in Uncle Buck, you know, where
Oh,
John Candy like just decks the guy.
oh yeah,
He's like, why don't you get in that mouse?
that is awesome.
Drunken
Yeah, they
clown
just, like,
arrives.
if they just followed you around and honked a horn, or like squirted you with
Well,
water.
you'd have to end
Yeah.
up turning around and jacking them.
It just like showed up at your office and heckled you all day.
Yeah, but you know the one that you turn around and hits John Wayne Gacy. That's the one. That's the guy.
He's like sold shoes in Springfield. He started out his
He's got his
business, so to
roots.
speak,
We
here
gotta
in town.
That
do
was
a
when he was
show about
respectable.
respectable. Yeah. Oh, where did he go wrong?
When did John Wayne?
Did he
Gacy
ever
go
really
wrong?
do anything wrong?
I'm not so sure.
I don't know.
He had landscaping issues, didn't he?
Yeah.
Some questionable plantings.
He knew how to use a shovel.
That's not funny.
Well,
No, wait. We
that
don't.
was really tacky.
We don't go there.
That's
do we?
that's
please.
almost a more poor taste than picking on poor Christopher Reeves.
I didn't pick on.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of did. I have to
Boy,
say.
Superman, I tell you.
Well, but am I wrong?
The
I
answer
mean,
was yes, John. Nothing is impossible.
Because Superman can fly, so.
The problem I have with that question is it's so hard to figure out what the right answer is. Is nothing impossible?
But there are a lot of impossible things.
I told you before the show started that it's impossible for me to make a decent omelet.
Well, exactly. And it was just like it was impossible for him to walk. Come on, are we gonna split hairs here?
You're not. I can
Omelet.
I'm not making fun of the guy. I'm sure he was, trying, but.
All right, let's get back on topic.
Oh yes. We want to go back to one of our questions to ask Steve.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think would be best for Springfield? Subway, monorail.
You know why the monorail doesn't work?
Why?
Because you have to walk up to it.
That's true.
Up
Nobody-
to it?
That's true.
Yeah, I mean nobody wants. You gotta look. Yeah, it's Subway's much better. Like street level or below because like an escalator. But monorail's too high.
Well, I see.
Too awkward
But
looking.
don't you think it would look cool? This is a little zoom going around.
I do think
Yeah, but they
it
always
would
like
look cool.
tip over and fall off the tracks and.
It would follow like 55 around town, and then
Am I the only one picturing The Simpsons?
no, I am too.
Yeah. Okay.
Some swashbuckler comes in, some little medicine salesman.
You'd be the guy who have to rescue the monorail.
the out of control monorail.
Monorail seem to have more songs about it than like Subway. So because the monorail guy had this.
I don't know. I'm just in complete support of it. We've got the history thing going. I just think it'd be.
We
great.
have tons of city funds that we can just throw at this thing.
We've got money that we don't even know what to do with at this point.
That's right, filling potholes. All right, I think I have a question that I would like to ask. You've been given the opportunity.
That's all right. Well, not take my question. Next question.
This is better television if we just sit here like this.
You have been given the opportunity to create your own crime-fighting duo, and you can team up with anyone you wish. Who would you choose as your partner?
Wow. So I'm like responsible for some of the crime fighting?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
We're talking like Batman and Robin.
So I got to have somebody do all the heavy lifting while I just like sit in the car and,
Yeah.
I don't know, knit.
So you got to think wisely about your choice. If you want to knit, then you need someone who's going to pick up the slack.
I think Superman. Isn't he the best crime fighter because he can like do anything?
Would you wear the tights?
But I'm not, honestly, he's my partner.
But you're the partner.
You know, I'm just standing there drinking a latte and a little
He's a latte
eating a donut.
boy.
Yeah, you know.
Superman and latte boy.
I think Superman's
like
going to drop your name soon.
It's like quit being partners with me.
He was there for a while, but
But see, Batman would be like more fun to hang out with though, because just he's loaded.
He's
Bruce
got
Wayne's at least
money.
rich.
And he's a legitimate superhero.
Superman's
he's got a
just
great
lowly
car.
journalist.
So I don't think Superman's like a real superhero. He's kind of just got the powers.
I think he had a lot of issues. He had a lot of like father issues.
It'd be weird if you like went flying with Superman because that's only something Lois Lane does. So you like couldn't use that aspect of like his friendship. You wouldn't want to like hold his hand and like fly through Gotham.
That's right.
You can see that ending up on the front page of the paper.
With me, latte
questions.
boy, he holds you.
Yeah. Would he cradle you? Would you ride on his back? Would you like put your arms on his shoulders?
It'd force you guys to have to say, not that there's anything wrong with that, but
maybe Batman. I mean, at least there'd be if you like went on vacation, you'd have more fun with Batman than Superman.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, Clark Kent's
I got to tell you, I'm leaning more and more toward B. Arthur these days. She was one bad mamma jamma.
yes.
She was.
We have a thing for the Golden Girls.
I can Rue McClanahan and Blanche and Sophia and
Yeah.
Who
Betty White was probably overall.
Who's the one you would date though? Now you only have
Blanche
four
because
choices.
she's the easiest. I mean,
You see, we both went with Sophia, and I realized going down that alley, I could see there'd be a problem. But she's definitely the coolest, I would say.
Sophia was the coolest.
Rose was just so simple.
Yeah.
From St. Olaf.
I got sick of those St. Olaf jokes.
That would really wear thin after like 2 dinners, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I'd be like,
Just
dear, you've got to
enough.
stop talking about St. Olaf.
Some silly story about Belgian waffles or something.
All I know, like in the darkness coming at me, B. Arthur's voice would be a big turnoff.
Yeah.
That's like.
But put a mask on her and hang out in dark alleys.
Did you have to wear those giant night robes that they all wore around though? Like kind of the house attire?
Here's a cheesecake, ultra villain, man.
I plan on wearing those when I become an old woman.
There were 2 sets for that entire show. There was the living room and there was the kitchen. It's the only places they ever were.
That is true.
That's beautiful.
That is true.
What a budget.
Although I do remember them showing the bathroom at one point.
Oh.
Well, that's kind of creepy.
Well,
You remember that.
I think the bathroom broke down. Anyway, Steve, I think we're done here.
Okay, good to be here,
we
guys.
got way off the subject, but
I'm glad we talked so much about it.
I know. But thanks for coming on, Steve.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And join us next week for Just Two Guys.
Hello, welcome to the party.
Hi, I've never met you before.
I know.
Just 2 guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time. Having a good time. Just 2 guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time.